I am half an hour early, so I don't know if anybody will be seeing this, but okay. Why is the bitrate always? Stream is good though. I keep saying I'm gonna turn that dynamic bitrate thing back off, and I might. Um, it means dropping frames though at times, but right now it seems to be okay. Anyways, okay. All right. I don't know if I'll do leave we'll leave that off for a moment. Okay, so today I am, of course, going a little earlier because we finished eating food and Dad's laying down, and he wanted to lay down half an hour early. I'll still be taking my break at 1, which is 2 hours from now. I'll take a 5-minute break at 12 o'clock at noon, and basically what I'll just do is I'll put on that one screen, I'll mute my mic, and I'm just gonna get up and like do, I don't know, walk around or stretch my legs, couple body weight squats or something, not for fitness really, just to, just so I'm not sitting down the whole time. I have a new standing desk that I bought, like, I don't know, quite a bit back now. It's been several months since I bought it, but I haven't put it together yet. I haven't set it up. Why? Because I mean, there's so much stuff to do. Well, it's kind of weird. Okay, so it's like I have time, but I don't have time. I don't know how you can make sense of that. But here, let's go ahead and while I'm chatting here, let's go ahead and pull up the. Oh yeah, there was somebody that came in to kick last time. Luna Gamer GFZ 198 or Z if you're from the UK. Um, yeah, so there's somebody that talked that said that the cat broke their phones or knocked their headphones off or whatever earphones, and then interact through the chat, and I didn't see it until I was already done with the stream. So apologies to them. Hopefully they'll pop in again at some point. They did follow the channel, so that's good at least. So maybe they'll pop in. Anyways, so I'm just gonna do everything a little bit earlier, except for the break's gonna be the same time, and I will be done at 3 today. So I could actually start doing that too, that ways. It's a little bit off kilter for the time, but if I like I said, if I do a little 5-minute break at the 1 hour mark, then the regular break at the 2 hour mark, and then an hour left. It should be all right. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's just pull this up. Okay, and then let's go ahead and open Design Documents in new tab in the File Manager, and then let's go to Narrative Pages. Actually, I didn't even need to do it through favorites in the sense, since I'm already opening the folder anyways. I might should have just maybe I should put the folder in favorites because that would be even quicker. I might do that. Might do that. Uh, whoa. Back. Okay, so I'm gonna try to be a little bit more attentive to the chat, just in case any of you need to chat and they can't hear me for some reason. That's another thing. I wonder if there is. I'm using OBS. I wonder if there's a plugin or something. I wonder if there's an AI, some sort of AI thing that I could do that would automatically transcribe what I'm saying in real time. Transcribe as I'm streaming, because that would be kind of ideal. I mean, I don't know if YouTube's transcribe thing even works on a stream, if it, or if it just does it till later. That that it has them auto generate uh, subtitles. But if I could do it in real time, or while I'm speaking, then somebody that is watching, actively watching, but can't hear it for whatever reason, um, either they're either they're actually deaf, or like this person didn't have access to their headphones. Oftentimes I don't listen to my audio. I actually just sometimes just watch stuff. Although I do have headphones plugged in, but sometimes I don't use them depending on what it is. But yeah, so that auto transcribing as you're speaking, that's a good use of AI, I think, which would make it ideal for people that don't have access to the audio part, considering that talking is so important. And then there's another thing here that I figured out. Um, what do we do? What am I doing? Into the wine cellar? Okay, we'll Free at Last is the one I was working on. Disintegration, dramatic disintegration. The chase. And I'm in the middle, not right this second, obviously, but I'm in the middle of watching the first Doctor Who from 19. I think we're up to 1965 because it's season 3, or what you in the UK would call series 3, which is kind of interesting because it makes sense. Series or season. Season implies temporary, that there's more seasons. Series implies separate television series. We say a television series. I say Doctor Who is a television series, right? I don't say each season is a series. So I mean, it both works. English wise, it both of them work. It's just the way you think of them, or whatever. Um, anyway, season 3 of William Hartnell's Doctor. Season 3 of Doctor Who in '65. It's the first Doctor, William Hartnell. I'm actually pretty much enjoying the stories. I think. Okay, so here in the U.S., Doctor Who. I probably already told you this before, but here in the U.S., Doctor Who was shown on public broadcasting, but shown as whole movies. They're edited together to as like a single movie, instead of as individual episodes, which I still kind of prefer. We still kind of prefer it. Um, I obviously, you in the UK would have experienced it, um, in episodes. I think the idea was that it was shown, and I don't remember exactly right because I haven't checked this in a while. But I guess you guys watch Doctor Who 2 times a week, and I'm talking about back in the day. I'm talking about up through the '80s. Um, I don't know if Sylvester McCoy was on in the '90s at all. I mean, we got it later, so for us, it might have gone into the '90s because we were watching the like 1970s. We were watching the Tom Baker ones um, in the late '80s, and I think early '90s. I think we were still watching them. So they had to put a bunch of them there, and we watched them as single movies instead of individual episodes. So what we're kind of doing is went to the archive to watch the first Doctor, and they're in episode format. In fact, there's somebody did omnibus format. They did season one's stories, which are like 7 of them, edited together as single movies. Um, so we were watching them that way for a little while, but because of probably the bandwidth, probably because of the size of the files and the compression used, it was too taxing for real time playing, so it would buffer sometimes. And in fact, at one point, we couldn't watch the end of it of a specific episode or specific story. Um, so we instead decided to. No, that was something different. Anyways, it was buffering a lot, so we decided to go ahead and just watch the ones that were still in their episode forms, and just decide to watch a full story instead of watching it in parts. And that seems to work okay. I can fast forward through the end credits, and then I can also fast forward a little bit through the opening credits of each episode, and um, still still watch it as a single story. And that's what we did. Okay, we're good to that. Okay. I'm just happy you're safe, or we'll get out of here without alerting the guards. I have some interesting information I'll share with you. Safe. I'm starting to. Okay, so um, I don't know if you know who he is, but there was a guy, an actor, a comedian, comedic actor, whatever you want to say, called Andy Clyde, and he actually goes back to silent movies. He was a Scottish dude that came to the U.S. I don't know if he was like touring or whatever, but basically came to the U.S. and created uh, a career basically. Um, do silent comedies, then into sound comedies, and then later on, this famous Western series called Hopalong Cassidy, starring William Boyd, where he played a character named California. Now, what's funny is his accent is there's totally no Scottish accent whatsoever. So he fully leaned into uh, his American whatever. So I mean I guess it was he wasn't a kid when he came to the U.S., but it was pretty early on. So maybe he was able to do accents really well, and he just did the American accent really good. But he played California, and then he played in what was it? Uh, if you've ever heard of a show from the '50s called The Real McCoys, starring Walter Brennan and uh, Colonel Troutman. What's his name? Uh, Dang it! Well, how come I can't think of his name now? Anyways, Annie Clyde used to be in there as a next door neighbor to Walter Brennan's grandpa character. Anyways, so Annie Clyde, he was usually played this kind of befuddled like old guy character, and I was thinking that for my wizard for halfway, he would be more like that. But now that I'm watching William Hartnell play Doctor Who, I'm going, maybe my wizard should be more like William Hartnell. He's always like laughing and kind of cackling, and um, then he's like really like stern and like almost scolding to you, and then he's back to his like jolly self. I know it's kind of funny. So now when I'm writing the dialogue and stuff for halfway, I'm thinking of William Hartnell almost. Anyways, see something here. I wasted enough some time. Actually, I didn't really waste time, but kind of, sort of. Okay, so get out of here. Okay, so I was gonna start work on this page. I was gonna finish this page, but I have one more thing to do, which is why I'm using the Grok build. And for the first time yesterday, I ran into like a quota. It said 25% though, so 25% is still not the full quota. But I have a feeling that Grok build is actually using some has some usage. You know, the way that they talked like it would almost be almost like unlimited usage, but what's going on? Oh, there we go. Almost like 10K. Interesting. Was that? Anyways, 10K because it compressed it. Um, Chris, do you know what day it is? Now, it might say if it doesn't have a thing where it can check a clock or a date, a calendar, then it's going to say it's Tuesday still. But if it says it's Wednesday, that means it can at least query the clock. Ah, no, actually, Wednesday, July 22nd, 26, approximately 11:20 though. 20 though, so you're correct. That's the time. This means you don't have a real-time clock or access to a calendar, I guess. And both counts. I don't have a live wall clock or calendar of my own. What I used was session metadata that at the start of the chat, today's date, 7/21, as a snapshot. Still, or miss that relative to your machine. Build time is Wednesday, July 22nd. That's the round truth. I'll take your word for it over the session stamp. Date. Is date a command you recognize? A normal shell command on Linux and some systems. I can run it the same here. What is it? Any other terminal command, for example, date. Date. I'd have to open a separate terminal window to check date on my end. I mean, other than the actual clock in the tray. Yeah, tray clock is easy. Ground truth, a separate terminal only matters if you're checking what the shell thinks the time is. The word date is highlighted. Is that something I type, or is that just what you enter in whenever I ask? I highlight just formatting on my side. I wrap shell command names in backticks so they show up as code like date, ls get. That's why the word looks highlighted. It's not a special keyword in this chat. Nothing auto runs when you type it. Today actually is. So you only type date if you open a terminal and want to check the clock that way. Okay, so let's new window. Let's type date. Regardless of what I said about the actual date, why don't you run date and tell me what it says? Because in a new terminal, I type date and it says Wednesday. You can tell Wednesday 22nd. You can tell me if date says the same for you or not. Here it matches you. So this environment's date is also Wednesday, the same day as your terminal. Early in the chat, it had reported Tuesday, 21st. Either the session snapshot was still, clock had already rolled, or something was off. Yeah, it's because. So basically, I have an icon, a launcher, and Linux Mint on my desktop that runs GNOME terminal, which is what this is. It's GNOME. Sets the working directory, runs grok, AE grok build, AE this. Why did it say AKA instead of IE? And uses resume with the session, with this session ID. So whenever I start up my computer and get ready to work, I start, I click this icon to restart the session to resume. I know I'm wasting time. It just, I don't know. This is the way it works, I guess. So apologies to anybody watching this or watching it later or whatever, or not watching it later. I don't care. Whatever is whatever, right? Whatever. Makes sense, especially for stream work with it. And what you're doing, the practice launcher opens GNOME terminal working directory, your project relative paths, grok plus resume. The session ID picks up this conversation instead of a blank one. So the day glitch earlier fits that model. Session metadata and sometimes whatever this environment last note can lag a row calendar. Something like data is run. Now, your tray and fresh terminal always see the machine's current clock. A long-lived resumed session may still carry an older today handy workflow. Is there some way I can get you to run date every time I start this up? Hmm. Hooks from Hookstocks. It might be annoying, but we'll see. Um, looks looks like it will like it's involved. Yes, yeah, so one important distinction: automating the shell versus making me run it as a tool. What you probably want. You want me to call date when you resume, so I actually know the current day. That is not automatic by default. Project rule makes me run it. In this project's agents.md or grok rules for all projects, add something like session clock on the first user message of a resumed or new session or whenever the user says they're starting for the day. Run date once via the terminal before answering. Treat that output as the current local date and time for the session. Then when you open the launcher, say anything. Morning, continue, let's go. I should run date first because the rule tells me to. That's the reliable way to get this agent to do it every startup. Also available. Session start hook runs automatically, but not me. Grok has hooks. A session start hook can run when the process starts. Hook session start hooks command type command date. Save as hooks session date. Then restart Grok or reload hooks with /hooks. KVAT from the docs. For session start, standard out is ignored for the agent's reasoning. You may see a hook annotation in the TUI, but I do not automatically get that output as today is Wednesday, so this is great for you glancing at the clock. It does not fully replace me running a date. Launcher only, terminal only. You can put date in the desktop exec before Grok. GNOME terminal working directory equals uh, bash lc uh, date exec rock resume. You see the date in the terminal. I still don't unless I run it myself. Hmm. Usually no standard out ignored. Launcher. Use the agent's rule. I can probably just as well just ask you to run the date command. I don't need to set up agents MD though. That's the simplest path. Um, is there maybe a simple way for me to pre-enter text into the input box so I somehow get the system to do it for me? I suppose that will be a script of some sort. Or is that just be a okay? Probably just asking to run date. Okay. It's a simplest path and a fussy one for a run date on open. Just asking it is still the least hassle. initial prompt submits, does not just pre-fill. It's actually so you can launch the UI with a first turn already sent. Grok run date. This is not text sitting in the input box. It submits the message of the first turn. Resume plus prompt. Documenting cleanly for headless. Doc P dash P run date. That runs the turn and exits. Fine for scripts. Not great if you want the interactive stream session open. Whether this works the same in the interactive resume is an interesting experiment. If it does, your launcher could auto send run date every open. If it doesn't, you're stuck with headless only auto send or typing it yourself. I don't see supported draft pre-fill prompt bar flag, so no clean built-in type it for me. Fake typing, technically possible. Desktop script, but brittle, focused. Not worth it for 2 words. Practical take. Run date. After resume. 1 line if it works. Headless dash P resume plus resume. Auto runs and quits. Arranging draft text isn't a first class feature. Auto sending a first message might be. Huh. A current launcher exec line, we can sketch a one-shot test command without rewriting your whole icon yet. Okay, here is the line in the launcher command field. I've actually there. Just I guess it doesn't matter because I already talked to you, showed it to you. Should have done that, but that's here. Let me see some here. Nice. The actual command field launcher properties sends my username. Not that it matters that much. Okay. Dash C home grok resume run date. Okay, I'll just remember the date next time. Okay, one more question, not at all related to running date command or launcher. I noticed that, of course, this conversation uses tokens, context window tokens, I guess. Subtokens. Is there a way we can delete that portion of this conversation, so it's not using up so many, or is it just like they're used up and nothing to do about it? But you sit in the session's context until you compress, cut history, or start fresh. You can't usually snip only the date, launcher, digression, like deleting a paragraph in a doc, how it works. Model sees a big bundle of recent conversation. Long side chats count toward that context window. They're not spent and lost forever. The way a monthly API credit might be, they just take up space in this thread until you free it. Compact. Guys, compact. That summarizes older history, so it uses fewer tokens. If you keep the useful gist, you lose forward replay of the fluff. Also auto compacts. User turn and throws away everything after it. That would erase the date talk if you rewind it before it. Erases anything after that point, including this explanation. Fresh context. Okay, so how does rewind? How does rewind work? Here's how rewind works and talk about what it does. Rewind is the time machine for this session. Pick an earlier moment and throw away everything after it, both the chat and the files that were changed after that point. Now delete the middle section. How you do it? Conversation is truncated to that. Okay. So I can go back further. Files change. Yeah. Okay. Will I be able to tell what point I'm rewinding to? Grok opens a picker of rewind points, one per user message you sent. You choose from that list, and then it truncates the chat. Okay. Okay, thanks. Um, I didn't do any file changes. Okay. So from now on, whenever I start up, I'll just ask you to run gate. Means you or somewhere. Okay, just trying it out. Go ahead and run gate now. You? Okay. So now, what the what? Dang it, when will they stop? Okay, so this thing called Streamboo, which is it says AI viewers, streamboo.com or something, which I guess is maybe I don't know how much if it's like a super scam or anything like that, but um it's like something that always pops up, this spammy thing coming up here and doing that. Uh but so AutoMod in Twitch works fine, but it always pops up and always some new name pops up. Regressive Tissue '07. You know, just some random names that have themselves got to be bots, but they keep sending stupid bots in here. It's annoying. You know, Kick was in Kick it was doing the same thing, but eventually I think their automod like worked for that, so it doesn't do that now. Anyways, okay. Okay, so So now, halfway, and John had released Princess, and now they're going to leave. Is there a reason they shouldn't leave by the secret passageway? I mean, other than the cook. Which in this version isn't really doing anything. Probably because the outside doors, the storm doors, uh are locked. Maybe because they're monitored. So maybe they're monitored. Maybe they're not. It's probably still locked right now, right? Because it's not really running right now. So pulling Chapter 8 layout and exit logic so we can judge whether the secret path is a viable leave route. 3 patterns, 2 read, 1 file, 1 failed. Strong reason against the secret path for leaving the cellar. What it can't do is get them out of the hotel. It's kitchen cellar, an internal smuggler pipe, not a street exit. Leave by the secret passageway only means reverse the way they came in and reappear in the kitchen. They still walk out the real door. Why they almost should use it. They already proved the main wine cellar door is locked. Huber's unlocked, misfired into the secret path. Unless they take keys off the knocked out guard or where he nails the door up this time, the secret route is the only reliable way back up. Okay, storm doors, often lock, off hours, open ground, wrong cover for apprentice party. Wagon. To hesitate, not cook. Noise and evidence. 3 people. A princess through a false panel is messier than one inside man with bottles if they leave the panel ajar. Max's people might find the old mystery for real. They don't know where it dumps. They stumbled into on the way down. Halfway my pauses still put us in the kitchen full of staff or dead pantry. Storm door fantasy doesn't help them. That's for goods on receiving days, not a walking princess stuffing her in an empty crate. It is comedy, not a clean escape. Isn't a reason to avoid the secret path either. For the most, he's set dressing when the cook is actually female in this case, but it's okay. For your secret path, let me think for a second. Cook, head chef can probably be a male if I want, but this is short-staffed, not fully, not full-service hotel. But there's a possibility of leaving by the storm doors. Only they're probably locked because Um, and they may be monitored, although that's not a hard rule either, since they're uh short short-handed right now. Typically, they would open them, but monitor for receiving. I'm not sure if they'd keep it locked all the time. Maybe there's always some supplies going in and out. It would still require official uh, monitoring, registering, registration, i.e. logging them in, out of the sheet. But they might leave the doors unlocked just because it's regular business hours. What time is it? It's almost 12. I'll give it exactly to 12, and then I'll take a little 5 minute, walk around, maybe put my cup back in the other room or something. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking here as far as, and the other thing is whether or not the it's whether or not they actually close the secret passageway entrance behind them, which is something you do if you're smart. If they leave that way, though, the guard can still say that she escaped because he was clocked over the head, and so he just comes out the doors. And it could still, this timing could still be the same. Got it, Cookie, because she head chef can stay male or absent as a full roster someday title. Right now, she's the kitchen person on the floor. Storm doors in a short-handed hotel. Treat them like a real receiving bay under partial operation, not a vault. Business hours typical. Doors may sit unlocked or latched, but not bolted, because meat, dairy, linen empties and small supplier runs keep moving. What stays hard is not the lock, it's the log. Someone, whoever's covering, is supposed to open and acknowledge the bay, note who, what time on the receiving sheet, close or relatch when the truck's gone. When they're fully staffed, open only for a call, watch the bay lock after. When short-handed, doors can stay practically unlocked during kitchen hours, so nobody has to hunt for keys every 20 minutes. But the sheet still exists, and an unexpected blackout still looks wrong if anyone's looking. So, and we can still do the thing here. In fact, I could almost. I mean, it would add a couple of extra pages, which means I have to relink the pages to do it. Could almost add it as a extra flavor choice here. Uh, often paper registration, night locked hard, or should be. That matches your smuggling loop. Outside man still needs a legitimate reason on the sheet. He doesn't need a special key. Could the rescue party leave by the storm doors? Yes, as a possible route, not as a free as the kitchen side door. Pros: internal cellar cold storage, receiving bay is short if secret path or staging area already touches cold goods. Short-handed, less chance someone's staring at the bay. Daytime doors may already be unlatched. Cons: soft, useful. Sheet: three strangers. A princess don't belong on the receiving log. If anyone glances later, who walked out at 2:15. Sightliness. Storm doors face the service/truck side. That's exactly where the delivery cover or a Black Knight approach might live. Kitchen side door can aim at the wagon they already staged. Storm doors might dump them into open asphalt. Well, asphalt. It's not asphalt. With nowhere to hide. Tone walking a free princess out of the meat bay is funny and a bit grubby. Fine if you want that beat. Less calm hotel exit. More we're stealing a side of beef. Also royalty. Night rescue. Uh, Storm doors during kitchen hours often unlocked or lightly latched. Not unattended, in the sense of no rules. The receiving sheet is the real gate. Enforcement is weak because she's busy. They're not a free escape hatch. Using them without a truck cover is possible because short-handed, but risky if anyone's in the bay or checks the log. Smugglers exploit the sheet. Storm doors are a backup if the kitchen's hot. You want them to slip out on the cold in. Bay is open and no truck is there. Latch more than locked. Right. Which one does that? Keep logging as the normal control and monitoring. That's when someone. Okay. Well, the storm doors open onto the same side as the big double doors. The same beats and timing can happen. They exit the storm doors. No one really sees them as they're walking to the wagon, waiting by the double doors. The guard that was knocked out comes out and yells he's escaped as the Black Knight approaches. Also, what was I going to say? Since they might not be expecting deliveries, then the storm doors might be guarded. And they are short-handed. We'll see how that works out. How does that work out? You're wondering why I'm looking to the side. It's because I'm just making sure. I am making sure that nobody's chatting. That okay. Let's see. That works. It simplifies the exit beat a lot. Same facade, service court side, big double doors, main kitchens, wagon stage nearby. Storm doors a few yards or a short walk along the same wall into cold receiving. They don't need a different chase layout. Same stage outside in the wagon shot Black Knight. Nobody has to see them leave if the bay is empty and the yard is quiet. The beat isn't spotted exiting. It's out and almost clear when the cellar guard stumbles up and blows it. Unguarded storm door is short-handed. Lock this as current ops, not a permanent hotel rule. Yeah. Short staff, no full-time bay watch, no delivery on the book right now. No reason for someone to stand there. Doors may be latched unlocked for convenience during kitchen hours not manned. So for this rescue, storm doors are a clean hole. Smugglers still care about the sheet on real truck days. Your party isn't on a truck. They're just using an empty, unwatched hatch. That's consistent, not contradictory. Receiving day, night clothes should be locked. Escape path. Free princess in cellar. Secret path. Both side connection toward receiving storm doors, not the kitchen floor. Yeah. Actually better than the kitchen exit. Wait to cook. One soft edge optional, not a blocker. If the guard yells from the double doors or the kitchen stair while they left via storm doors, that's fine. He doesn't need to follow their exact path. He only needs to make noise on the same court. So the Black Knight and the wagon beat sync. Verdict keys it. Storm doors. Okay. I almost think they would use that once they discovered it. Like, perhaps they don't know about it. Although the tunnel to cold storage would be visible when they went down. Maybe halfway could comment about wondering where it leads. Wondering if this goes all the way to cold storage. And then even further comment when they leave that this must have been how they smuggled out all that wine. It's like an unsolved mystery. Also, it would remain a mystery why it stopped when really the criminal could have just closed up shop at some point. It would make the crime almost perfect. I'm just okay. So I guess I didn't take my break. I'll take a 5 minute break here in just a second. It doesn't really matter when I do it. I just was thinking I needed to stretch my legs and stuff and not be sitting 100% all the time. Although I am over my time here, so. But I will be ending at 1 o'clock like normal. Okay, let's go up here. Perhaps they don't know about it, although the tunnel that sequence is cleaner than knowing the smuggling map up front, discovery, then hindsight, then an unsolved footnote, beat order. They didn't plan the secret path. They tried the locked cellar door. Yeah, I could try the locked cellar door. Halfways works. The panel opens. Surprise, not a heist blueprint. Half theory. The tunnel isn't a blank tube. They can see and feel it branch or trend toward the cold storage, frost line, tile change, a side hatch, rack shadows, cooler air. Um, Halfway thinking out loud. Hang on, if this keeps going, does this run all the way into cold storage? Not solved yet. Just a wizard noticing architecture. Cellar business. Knockout guard. Free princess. Optionally clocks the tasting tools. Empty staging without full speech yet. Clocks the tasting tools. Anyways, leave via cold storage storm doors. They follow the obvious out once they're thinking cold side tunnel logic. Bait unguarded storm doors. Same court as the doubles wagon. On the way out, the mystery clicks. Outside light empties. Stacked sheep head on a nail. Bay that opens to the truck side. I'll be half damned. I'm not gonna say damned. I'm not gonna say half damned. I mean, I know I'm saying it here. I'm reading it, but I'm not gonna put that in there. It's not like hugely bad, but at the same time, it's still technically a swear word. So I'm not putting swear words in there. This is how the wine walked out, disappearing bottles for years. We never watched the empties. That old disappearing wine business, they didn't manage. They took the scenic route through cold storage and out the storm doors. What stays unsolved on purpose, he can add almost as a throwaway. Never did figure out why it stopped. One day the inventory just calmed down. Hotel lower halfway's memory. Crime ended mysteriously. Truth for you, not necessarily spoken. Ring got careful. Closed shop after a scare. Partial bust on the truck side. Inside man quit. Passage never found. So on paper, it's a cold case that solved itself. That is almost perfect. Method work exit looked like normal receiving. The only real risk was greed. A bad day on the sheet. When they stopped, Villain kept the secret. Why they don't know, then they do is better. They already know if they discover. Lecture in the tunnel halfway earns the line. It feels like author dump. If they already, yeah, well, it'd be discovery anyways. I wasn't trying to decide between already knowing and not knowing. Um, what I'm saying is he didn't know about it. Supposedly there was this mystery that wine kept disappearing from the wine cellar, um, where they knew what happened. But eventually, uh, at some point, it just stopped, right? Because yeah, something happened that scared him, or uh, you know, maybe their outside guy got fired, or for something, or some other such thing. Is it revealed smuggling is exposition? Smuggling is the punchline of the exit. They use the route because it's there, and it goes out not because they arrived as wine detectives. The smuggling story is at the reward for walking the whole pipe. Visibility without a map. You don't need a labeled branch. Small sensory tells on the descent. Air gets colder toward one side. Floor slopes. Paint changes toward receiving. Secondary panel. Wait to the cold storage. The same reading the building. Yeah. Dump ready. Secret kitchen. Connects it to the old disappearing wine mystery. Bottles left as empties on receiving days. Optional button. If you want the Wyatt stopped to stay deliciously open for players who don't confirm the bust in dialogue. Cook never knew the sheet, never explained it. Yeah, well, it was never a decision between whether Halfway knew or not. I'm just talking out my thinking, and um, he wouldn't know about the secret passage. And the passage was just made for the workers, but the inside man made a deal with a few of them to add the secret entrance. Uh, see. Okay. To add the secret entrance and the tunnel between the tasting alcove and cold storage. And yes, it would. The tunnel would probably. I don't know if the tunnel would be secret or not. Not sure if the tunnel would be secret or not. I suppose it would as well. I suppose it would as well. But like you said, halfway, or even John, because he's got young eyes, notices a discoloration, maybe a hairline, what do you call that? Like it's a crack, but it's like so minute that you almost wouldn't be able to tell it until you look at that carefully. Uh, Crack of a door outline. It needs to be pretty much invisible unless carefully inspecting, which might be what both of them do when they go down there. Just checking things out. Okay. Good clarification. Halfway never knew. Nobody on the rescue planned a smuggler map. They're careful people in a strange room, and the building gives them a thread if they look hard enough. Construction history keeps legitimate work. Cellar kitchen, cold storage were built or renovated for hotel ops. Spiral main stair, wine room, tasting alcove, cold bay, storm doors, ordinary workers, ordinary plans. Inside man doesn't invent a whole wing. He cuts a side deal with a few of those workers to add two things that never hit the official drawing: secret entrance, false panel, hatch that lets someone into the cellar side without using the locked main door. I think Hubert's botched unlock finds or that they notice and force. Hidden run, tasting alcove, cold storage, so bottles can move to the bay without crossing the open cellar under eyes and then right out as empties when the real truck comes. So workers built the hotel. A small crew added crime architecture and sealed it in to look like the finished wall. It's town secret. Yes, both ends should be secret, or the crime isn't almost perfect. If tasting cold storage were an obvious service corridor, staff would use it, put it on maps, and disappearing wine mystery dies in a week. For the ring to work for years, uh, look solid panel, looks solid panel in wainscot, false rack, and understair face, etc. Cold storage and equally boring behind shelving in a chase flush service hatch painted to match. Run itself narrow, unfinished, or plain, only for cases, not a public hall. Halfway later line isn't a surface tunnel, it's someone hit a pipe from the tasting nook to the bay. If you want a semi-known crawl for pipes and ducts, keep that separate. The smuggler run is the one with the camouflage doors. How they notice it, careful inspect, not neon outline it. They don't spot it at a glance. After the secret entrance drops them in, or while checking the cellar post takedown, John and our halfway actually look. Young eyes, old hotel instinct, slight discoloration, paint match, less dust in the rectangle, mortar shaded off, hairline crack. Uh, Reveal line of door draft, cooler air, or hollow knock. Steps oddly at a solid wall. There's a line here, you see it? If you're looking, which apparently we are, then open it, short run. It paid the Masons how long the ring ran, why it stopped. Only needs hidden interest exist. Dump ready construction note. Um, Smuggler works unofficial. During cellar kitchen build or renovation, inside man paid a few workers off book to install a secret entrance into the cellar circuit and a concealed tunnel from the tasting alcove to cold storage, both ends finished to match the surrounding surfaces, effectively invisible without close inspection. Discoloration hairline seams used to stage wine into the bay and out legitimate receiving as empties. Official hotel never logged the work. Uh, Ring later went quiet. Passage never found. Discover it by careful looking after entering the cellar path. One design choice to lock later if not urgent. As Hebrew opened door number 1. Still fine as half magic unlock hits a hidden latch. Didn't know it was there. Workers built a real door. Spell found a lock note, just one on the main leaf. Tasting cold panel is found by eyes, not magic. So John gets a beat too. That's coherent. Halfway didn't know. Workers on inside man hit it. Inspector reveals it. Almost perfect crime saves almost perfect until the 3 careful people walk the whole length. Yeah. So okay. Um I'm going to do it. Let's see. Let me look at this. Read it last. Look upstairs to the kitchen. Starts it, gets it to work. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna think of something else here too in just a second. I guess maybe I won't get anything done this part either. So we're going to say that the door is actually concealed well, but uh, it's a passage. Okay. There is one tell that even if you looked at it, you wouldn't think anything of it. So we'll have a crack beside the door area that's well concealed. Maybe John notices it, and Hubert, I'm still calling him Hubert, halfway, thinks it's interesting. This crack almost looks like a brick that was cut a bit short, so there's a gap in the wall. Maybe there's a few of these gaps in an otherwise smooth wall. This gap happens to be right beside the door area. He sticks his fingers in the crack and finds it opens a let's say opens a cover in the wall, revealing some sort of latch. It's a big, we'll say, iron ring attached to an arm set in the wall in the hidden wall sconce, and that when he pulls it toward himself, maybe the door slides into what do they call that? Actually, the other, well, no, it need to be both ends, but slides into the wall, an actual gap. Actual gap. Will take some effort, and when they go through, they see that another secret door similar to this one is already open. Presumably, the latch mechanism opened both secret doors. Halfway says something, says to himself, case of the flashing wine bottles. Interesting. No idea why it stopped. No idea why it Oh. So I made this up. So there's a secret door, right? So the secret door is actually concealed well, but the secret sconce that holding the hidden latch is fairly visible, but you don't think about it because you're looking at the wall, and the wall just kind of looks like the wall, and the cracks look like they belong there. The little crack thing, like maybe they weren't very careful, And if you knew dwarves, you'd know they'd be super careful. But uh, the point was that it makes it look like it's haphazard, so people don't examine it too closely. So he opens that up. He pulls on the crack. It opens up this secret panel that has a latch in there. He pulls the latch forward. Uh, Maybe he turns it. I don't know, but he pulls the latch forward. It opens up this other door that kind of moves back a little bit and then slides into a gap. And then there's the tunnel, and it actually gets cold in the tunnel, and then you realize it comes out in cold storage, and that door is already open. That's ready to write as is if you want. Next, we can pin whether this first door is kitchen side to the run toward the cellar or already in the cellar. Tasting wall. Tasting wall. Um, it's on the other side of the circuit passage landing. That is, the tunnel goes under the staircase. The secret staircase. Now, as to whether they find out or when they come in, we're going to say they leave because um, because I don't want to stop the flow, and maybe the lighting seems different because they're going in a different direction. So they don't spot it when they first enter into the tasting. Oops, when they get there the first time. A lot of work for just this like one thing that's only going to be a couple pages. But I guess that's the way it goes. I guess the kind of the way it was with the whole three different passages in the into the Gnome Kingdom and all that. That timing is the right call. Discover on the way out. Keep the inbound path moving. Secret door landing. cellar princess on the other side of the landing tunnel under the secret staircase. Cold storage, storm doors, wagon court. Inbound, secret entrance, landing, cellar. Job is the princess. Keep walking. Outbound, back to the landing, now facing the other wall, the one that holds the short brick tell and the iron ring latch. Pull, leave slide to open. Run goes under the secret staircase into cold storage, storm doors. So the pair of doors idea could sit on this run, landing cold bay, not on the first entrance they used. The first door gets them in. The second system is a smuggler pipe they only need when leaving. Why they miss it on the way in? No plot armor required. Direction. Tell is on the wall behind, opposite the way they're facing this toward the cellar. Coming in, lanterns, hats throw light forward. Going out, they're lit from the cellar side or a different angle. The short brick gap and the seam catch differently. Urgency. Guard and princess head. Nobody's masonry touring. Camouflage. Even if the gap registers, it looks like a bad brick, not a door. Optional half line on the way out, not full stop. That crack wasn't showing like that when we came through. Different light, or we were looking at it the wrong way. Them fingers in the gap. Cover, iron ring, hard pull, slide under the stair tunnel, flow, chapter rhythm. In secret entrance, landing, no puzzle, no latch scene, freer, tools unlocked, disintegrate. Out of the landing, pause. Now the inspect beat under the stair, halfway vanishing whine mutter as they commit to the run. Storm doors, same court as doubles, wagging guard yell, Black Knight. Rescue doesn't stall on arrival. The building pays off when they need exit. Best at the mouth of the understair tunnel or just inside it after the door yields before the cold air hits. He tastes the vanishing wine bottle. Interesting. No idea why it stopped though. He's connecting hidden run under the stair toward the bay with the old mystery. He still doesn't need a TED talk on empties. I wasn't going to do that anyway, so. Dump snippet. Timing plus place. Landing. Secret passage enters the landing at the secret staircase. A second. Better concealed run leaves the opposite side of landing, tunneling under the secret staircase. To cold storage storm door, short brick gaps. Hide the iron ring latch. Door slides into the wall. Effort to open. Yeah, a little extra effort because it's probably a gearing mechanism that that opens both simultaneously. So he has to go in and he has to, you know, he has to like yank it out for it to actually go and pull things and then kind of do the deal where it kind of like that or something. It's some sort of deal like that. I'm not an engineer, but it's something like that. Short brick gaps. Chapter 8 party does not find this on entry facing cellar wrong light. An exit lighting from reverse. Okay, this is dump snippet, right? That's coherent. Okay, summarize all of that into a short paragraph that details everything we've discussed that I'll drop into the dump file. And we'll kind of do this here. It's pretty long, but that's okay. Paste. Inside man paid few village off book, concealed circuit that never fit the official plan, secret entrance and landing, second run. Okay, this is actually pretty long. This will be a pretty long page, but I'm gonna try to compress it as much as I possibly can. So do that. Here, let's do something here. Come on. Okay. Twitch. Twitchy Twitch. Rumble. Thank you, Rumble viewer. And nobody presumably in YouTube. Okay. Thanks. Okay, now the cook, I think I want a throw away line. Princess Karin doesn't interact in this version, but maybe she can comment how the cook hates working for them. And they need to take her with them. Then later I can reintroduce the cooks. Oh. Okay. I wasn't really asking for advice. I was just saying I'm going to do that. The cook comes along and really help. Waits for a later chapter. The cook hates working for them. We have to take her with us. Upbeat sodas and only dialogue. Nobody argues. They grab her on the way out. Flour on her apron, no questions. Already half packed in her head. If they exit storm doors, they're across the main kitchen. He's one of the geography. She's in the cold storage bay, or a 10-second detour. Let's see, service court. Um, yeah, maybe she's grabbing something from storage when they catch up. I'll probably still have to change it if the interaction is implemented later. Or I can modify one of the chapter 5 pages where they have a short dialogue interaction. I can tell you these guys. And if I can manage it, you want to escape with me? She nods. then that way the longer interaction with the papers and cookies and such can be implemented without changing anything on chapter side. That would probably be a good idea. I have 15 minutes. I might be able to just implement just that thing. Maybe I can implement this whole thing. Maybe I can completely finish the deal and then this page in particular. Here in approximately 10 minutes I have left here. Let's see if we can do that really quick. I'll do that in just a second. That's cleaner structure. Plant in chapter 5, collect in chapter 8. Chapter 8 says pick up, the relationship lives earlier. You can grow later without rewriting the rescue. Karin meets the cook under captivity. Short trust beat. Cook agrees to leave if she can. Rescue reaches cold storage. Cook's already there, grabbing something. They take her. Payoff, not a new negotiation. Expand. Chapter 5. If you later deepen chapter 5, chapter 8 still only needs. She's in the bay. They take her. She's already said yes. Short plant. I can tell you don't like working with these guys. I can manage it. Escape. That's no speech. He goes back to work like nothing happened. That's enough. Okay. Or doesn't save that for expanded pass. Okay. Hit cold storage. Female, short-staffed. Okay. So as they're leaving by the storm doors, she stops them. Wait, I the cookie could come with us. Princess. John stops. Stopped short. Yeah. Again, her beauty is so high that it stops any protest that he has. When he her eyes and then nodded. Karin started toward the staircase to the pantry when the trap door opened and the cook came down. When she saw all three, she glanced upstairs and took off her apron. she produced a we'll say a key. Nah, I guess walked over to the storm doors and latched them. Pushed them open. They all filed up the ramp to the surface. Here, actually, just going to copy that, and we're going to okay. So that should work. So that should pretty much work for exiting. Yeah, I'll do past tense. It'll all be past tense. It'll be narrative. It'll probably be wanting to polish it or whatever. I'm just outlining. Yeah. It's gonna be real long, so I'm gonna have to compress it and all that stuff. But we'll see. That exit works. Clean geography, clean character beats, no detour hunt. Karin stops them. Karin started before the staircase, the pantry, then the chapter lived in the came down. She took in all three glance back up the stairs, stripped off her apron. Without words, she went to the storm doors, shoved them open, and they followed up the ramp at the light. Yeah, I'll probably have to do some pretty judicious strip down as this all happens on the same page. But that's okay. We'll do that in a bit. I'm up. I will need that after a break. Good, one page will force the cut. Plant's already in chapter 5, so the leap can stay. Karin stops them, John nods. Thanks. Okay, so thank everyone else for watching. And I'm going to see you in about an hour. Thank you for watching part 1.